The email arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, polite wording, elegant formatting, a sparkling gold-embossed invitation attached at the bottom. Brooksville High Class of 201510 year reunion. Join us for an evening of nostalgia, laughter, and celebration. Serena Hale stared at the screen, her coffee turning cold beside her. She read the sentence once, twice, a third time. Not because she didn't understand it, but because she understood it too well. They didn't invite her out of kindness. Those people never did anything out of kindness. For a moment, she simply sat there in her minimalist penthouse office, surrounded by soft white walls, warm beige decor, and shelves filled with luxury candle prototypes, her brand's signature look. It was peaceful here. Safe, quiet. The kind of quiet she had once begged for as a teenager. But even in this serene space, that old familiar ache stirred in her chest. The loser. The weird girl. The charity case. That was what they called her in high school loudly. Behind her back at first, then boldly to her face. She slowly closed her laptop, exhaling. For 10 years, she hadn't seen a single one of them. Not Madison, the queen bee who treated cruelty like a sport. Not Trish, who lived for gossip. Not Liam Parker, the handsome football captain who ruined her life for a few laughs. 10 years. 10 years since the day she walked across the graduation stage, pretending not to hear the snickers. 10 years since she swore she would never return, and she hadn't. Until now. Serena stood and walked toward the floor-to-ceiling window overlooking the city. Her city. Her company's headquarters stood proudly just 5 blocks away, a symbol of everything she had built after clawing her way out of the darkness. She had changed. She had grown. She had thrived. Why would you go back? Her phone buzzed on her desk. Evelyn, her executive assistant and the daughter of the older woman who had once saved Serena's life, peeked her head through the doorway. "You okay?" Evelyn asked gently. "You look like you're thinking about something heavy." Serena smiled a little. "Just an invitation. For my high school reunion." Evelyn stepped inside, eyes widening. "Are you going?" Serena wasn't sure. "Not yet." "I don't know," she admitted. "What's the point?" Evelyn raised an eyebrow knowingly. "Sometimes the point isn't them. Sometimes the point is you." Serena didn't answer, but she felt the words settle deep inside her, stirring something she hadn't felt in years. 10 years earlier, the beginning of everything. Brooksville High was one of those schools where hierarchy wasn't just social, it was practically law. If you were rich, athletic, or attractive, you ruled. If you weren't, you were invisible. Or, worse, entertainment. Serena Hale had been the perfect target. She wasn't loud or confident. Her clothes came from thrift stores. Her hair was usually tied back in a messy braid. She loved drawing, but never showed anyone her art. She ate lunch quietly in corners, hoping no one would notice her. They always noticed. It started small whispers, little jokes, snickers. But cruelty grows when unchecked. Eventually, it became a daily ritual. Madison, the reigning queen bee, was the ringleader. Her beauty was sharp, and so was her tongue. "Oh, look," she'd say loudly, pointing at Serena in the cafeteria. "There goes the charity project." Laughter. Serena would clutch her tray tighter and keep walking. Then there was Liam Parker. Football star. Golden boy. Everyone adored him. Everyone except Serena. He never physically hurt her. He never shouted. What he did was worse. He ignored her pain, encouraged others to lighten up by making fun of her. Smiled when she cried. Because for him, it was never bullying, it was just a joke. One afternoon during senior year, Madison cornered Serena outside the art classroom. "Do you ever get tired?" Madison said, chewing gum as she looked Serena up and down. "Of being such a nobody?" Serena swallowed hard. "I'm not trying to be anything else." "Oh, honey," Madison replied with fake pity. "You don't have to try to be nothing. You just are." The group laughed. Serena didn't go to school the next day. But there was one person, only one who ever showed her kindness. Old Mr. Kenner, the janitor. Wrinkled, soft-spoken, with kind eyes and a gentle smile. He found her crying in the hallway once and sat down next to her. "You think the world sees you as small," he had said, patting her shoulder. "But the world's vision is broken, not you." His words carried her further than he ever knew. Back to present, a different Serena. Now, Serena Hale was no longer the shy, broken girl from Brooksville High. She was the founder and CEO of Hale and Haven, a multi-million-dollar luxury wellness brand known worldwide. A company built with sweat, sacrifice, and sleepless nights. Her schedule was packed with investor meetings, product launches, and philanthropic events. She had healed wounds she once thought were permanent. She had learned to love herself. She had learned to forgive the world, even the parts of it that hurt her. But forgetting? That was harder. At home that night, she sat by her balcony overlooking the glowing skyline. The reunion invitation lay on the table beside her. Her mind drifted back to senior prom, the night she wasn't invited to the pre-party. To the cafeteria prank they pulled that left her humiliated in front of the entire school. To the time Madison spread a rumor that Serena had a secret crush on Liam, just to watch him publicly reject her for laughs. The memories still stung. But they no longer defined her. Serena picked up the invitation, twirling it between her fingers. Maybe Evelyn was right. Maybe the point wasn't them. Maybe the point was proving to her younger self, the frightened girl sitting alone in the hallway, that she had survived, thrived, become someone extraordinary. Serena opened her phone and dialed a number. "Hi, this is Hale Aviation," the woman on the other end greeted. Serena smiled. "Yes," she said softly. "I'd like to charter a helicopter." The day of the reunion. Brooksville Heights Country Club had never looked more polished. Fresh linens, crystal chandeliers, elegant centerpieces, everything dripping with luxury. They wanted to impress. They wanted their reunion to be memorable. And it would be, but not for the reasons they expected. Madison stood at the check-in table, perfectly styled hair, diamond earrings glinting in the sunlight. She scanned the guest list, pretending to care. "Are we seriously wasting money on this?" one of her friends whispered. Madison shrugged. "It's tradition. And besides, I heard Serena Hale might show up." Trish snorted. "Why would she?" "She hated us." Madison smirked. "People like her always need validation. Maybe she wants to show off her little candle company." Little candle company. If only they knew. At the far end of the lawn, Liam stood with his old teammates, laughing at some story, but his eyes occasionally drifted across the crowd, scanning for someone. For Serena? He wouldn't admit it, not even to himself, but part of him wanted to see her. Not to mock her, not anymore. Life had changed him, humbled him. His football career ended early due to a knee injury. His popularity evaporated after graduation. Now he worked an average job at a local dealership. He wasn't proud of what he'd done to her. Some nights, he wished he could apologize. But it was too late for that. A loud roar echoed through the sky. People looked up. A helicopter, sleek and black with silver trim, sliced through the air like something out of a movie. The pilot expertly maneuvered it toward the landing pad near the lawn. "What the hell?" Madison blinked. Guests took out their phones, recording, whispering, pointing. The helicopter landed softly, blades slowing. A moment later, the door opened. A pair of ivory heels stepped out. Then the hem of a flowing satin dress. Then Serena Hale emerged, elegant, radiant, breathtaking. Her hair cascaded in soft waves. Her skin glowed beneath the golden sundae. Her posture was calm, controlled, confident, nothing like the timid girl they remembered. But her eyes were stronger than ever. The crowd froze. Jaws dropped. Silence fell like a curtain. Serena lifted her chin ever so slightly, letting her gaze sweep across the faces that once tormented her. Madison stared, stunned, and suddenly small. Trish's phone slipped from her fingers. Even Liam stepped back, eyes widening with a mixture of awe and regret. Serena walked forward with the quiet grace of a woman who no longer needed to prove anything to anyone, because she had already won. Entering the hall. Inside, the event hall buzzed with tension. People whispered behind their glasses. "That's her?" She looks like a model. She owns that wellness empire. I heard she's worth millions. Serena didn't flinch. Every hallway she walked through, she had once walked through alone and afraid. But now, she walked through them as a woman rebuilt from fire. At the memorabilia table, she paused. There, pinned on a board of senior memories, was a photo of her 7-year-old self sitting alone at lunch. She gently touched the edge of the image. Not with sadness, but with gratitude. She had survived because that girl never gave up. Serena? A soft, trembling voice. She turned. Liam Parker stood there, older, tired, humbled. His eyes searched hers for something he didn't deserve. He began. I didn't think you'd come. Serena smiled politely. Neither did I. He swallowed. You look incredible. Thank you. Silence stretched between them, heavy with everything he wanted to say but didn't know how. I'm sorry, he finally whispered. Serena looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded gently. I know, and she walked away. Forgiveness didn't always need words. The night deepens. Hours passed. People approached Serena, some shy, some embarrassed, some forcing smiles and pretending they had been friends once. Madison didn't approach her at all. Not yet. She watched from across the room, jealousy twisting inside her like a knife. This wasn't how she imagined the night would go. She expected Serena to walk in quietly, overwhelmed, insecure. Not this glowing, powerful woman. Serena's success was a mirror reflecting everything Madison failed to become. Eventually, Madison downed her cocktail and marched across the room. Well, she said with a tight smile, look who finally made it. Serena turned, unruffled. Madison, you're different, Madison said, struggling to keep her voice steady. People grow, Serena replied. Madison's smile cracked. I guess money can do that. Serena's eyes hardened, but only slightly. No, she said softly. Healing can. Madison blinked, caught off guard. Serena didn't give her a chance to respond. She simply walked away, leaving Madison standing there, speechless. For the first time in her life, Madison felt genuinely small. The moment of reflection. Near the end of the night, Serena stepped outside. The evening air was crisp and cool, carrying the faint scent of pine trees from the nearby woods. She stared up at the stars. She didn't come here to gloat. She didn't come to prove anything. She came for one reason: to close a chapter she had once been trapped in. And she had. Her helicopter waited on the landing pad, lights glowing softly in the darkness. As she approached, a wave of peace washed over her. 10 years ago, she had left Brooksville High with her head down. Tonight, she left with her head high. And this time, no one could take that from her. As the last guests drifted out of the reunion hall, some in stunned silence, others whispering regrets they were 10 years too late to speak, Amelia remained standing beneath the soft glow of the chandeliers. The girl they once mocked had become the woman they silently admired. Outside, the thunderous blades of her helicopter began to spin again, echoing like a final declaration. She had risen above everything they threw at her. But before she stepped toward the doors, a timid voice called out behind her. It was Mia, the former queen bee, the girl who once led the cruelty. Her mascara was smudged, not from the rain, but from the weight of a decade's guilt. Amelia, she whispered, each word trembling. I'm sorry. For everything. We were kids, but we were awful. You didn't deserve any of it. Amelia turned slowly. Her eyes, once full of pain, now held something stronger. Clarity. I know, she said softly. And you're right. You were awful. But I survived. I grew. And I learned that your cruelty never defined me. It only pushed me to define myself. Mia swallowed hard. How did you do it? How did you become this? Amelia smiled gently, not with arrogance, but with the peace of someone who fought a war and won. By remembering who I was, long before any of you told me who I wasn't. A silence settled heavy, honest. I forgive you, she said. Not because you earned it, but because I deserve peace. Mia broke down, lowering her gaze as Amelia walked past her, each step echoing with the strength of a woman who had rebuilt herself from ruins. When Amelia reached the helicopter, the pilot opened the door. A warm gust of wind swept through the parking lot, lifting her hair like a banner of victory. As she climbed aboard, she took one last look at the school, the place where she had been broken, and the place where she had now returned, unbreakable. The doors closed. The helicopter lifted. The ground shrank beneath her. Inside, Amelia finally exhaled a long, quiet breath of closure. She wasn't rising above them because she was richer. She wasn't rising above them because she wanted revenge. She was rising above them simply because she could. From the sky, the city lights shimmered like a new beginning waiting to be written. Amelia whispered to herself, "Never again will I shrink to make others comfortable." And with that final thought, she flew forward not away from her past, but triumphantly beyond it. The girl they once called the loser had become untouchable, not through wealth, but through becoming unstoppable. And this time, everyone finally saw her for who she truly was.